All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Lighting Critique. So today we are looking at some images. We've got Ronald and Miguel online with us. We will start right here. So let's talk about it. What do we got? What's updated? What's changed? What's your goal? What are you thinking?
Yes, I've added some volumetric lighting, as you suggested, and have tried to change up the silhouette of the subject in the image. So we've talked about rotating it, but it would look at nothing. So I've added a head crab to the left side, or a face hugger, so it has something to look at, so it justifies the position, basically. And on the third frame it disappears, so it's not distracting, but I just realized that the image is not getting bright enough, not getting dark enough to make the transition seamless. It just it's a really stark contrast.
Yeah.
When the positions changed. Yeah.
So I mean, yes to all that. You're absolutely right. But I like the structure of it, and I really like this. This is where it's going to be a little bit of a balance. So I love the specular, like the highlights that you added, especially in the darkness. Like it's cool that if you're just like on this first frame, this might be a little bit too much of a reveal. Like I would maybe you can even just like push it back into space a little bit, or just tone it down. But basically, I love the idea of like picking up a few specular highlights on them, and then like the second that it comes on, then it's like whoa, dang, and then we read that profile. Like this is a nice and strong profile. And then as it turns, and it's like it almost it's a shame. And this is when I was lighting them too. It's a shame it doesn't have like glowing eyes or something, because I would love to pick up something in there, but that's all right. I think I like the volumetrics a lot on these lights going back. I think that the one thing that you might want to do is just figure out a way to vary them a little bit, either in color, intensity. In an alley like this, there's not gonna be a lot of maintenance crews that come down there too often. So one of them is gonna be like, like one of them, like only one of these bulbs will be working, or things like that. Yeah. So just kind of adding some variation on that. These headlights look pretty good. If there's any way, I should have said this too. If there's any way of getting some displacement on the ground, that would be really helpful too. I'm just looking at it. It's like the ground feels a little bit, especially right around the car, feels a little bit flat. So if there is a height map in there, you could maybe bump up some displacement on that, if possible. If not, don't worry about
it. I haven't got one, but maybe if I turn the image black and white, I can get something out of it. But I'm yet to spill out the pavement from inside the tunnel, as you suggested. But I'm just still painting that.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. And then like, if you get some specular highlights on some of this stuff too, like where it's darker, like it doesn't have to be like totally like wet, like liquid, but just some shimmers on that would be really nice. And then this specular highlight on the car looks good, but it's like there's something pulling it back, probably in the comp. And so it looks bright, but it looks bright in that it's kind of flat, but it's also capped off. It looks a little bit gray. So I would just go ahead and if you have any color correction in the comp, I would just tone that down a little bit, just so that can get a little bit brighter.
All right.
And then I see the focus changing. Like if you look at the car here, it goes blurry into it. I would just keep the focus the same. I think we talked a little bit about racking it, I think, at one point, but I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yes, but the way it is as is, because I'd like to add some animation.
Okay.
When the car drives up, so it's just the beginning point of the
Got it. Okay, cool. Then we'll let that. Yeah, because it would be nice if this light was a little more dynamic as it like kind of enters in there. That'd be cool.
Oh yes, I'm having like a hard time getting that working, but it's gonna work out at some point.
Right, cool.
I'm just still iterating it.
Gotcha. Yeah, but this is looking great, man. This looks really cool. Man, I lost my. There we go. Let me get that back down.
Thank you.
I always do this, but there we go. Got it. I always lose my. I always drag windows around. All right. Yeah, I love the pulse. Like, to see how the lights pulsating, that looks great. Really cool. Really cool stuff all around, man.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we'll hop over to Miguel. Miguel, how you doing today? You there?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Sorry, I kind of just like launched it on you there. Okay, cool. So let's see. Well, first off, let's talk about what's been updated, what's changing, what you got.
So I diminished the glow on the haze just slightly, so you can. It's not as bright as it looks like if it's super bright outside. I also darkened the outside a bit. Added some specular down where the violin, the books, and the maps are at.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the screen right wall, added some specular into
Cool.
that. Added a glow to the lamp, and added some dirt specks
Yeah.
into the haze.
Yeah.
I did see that a lot of the wood suddenly turned pale, like the clock, the bookcase, the door frame, and the picture frame.
You mean like desaturated
Suddenly-
pale, like that kind of pale?
Yeah,
Mm.
suddenly like it turned really pale. As next to some of them actually stayed the same for some reason, and I don't know why. So I need to look into that.
Okay. I mean, I love like this. The specular highlight that you're getting on this wall here is really nice. It's like really, like you can really like see detail in a flat wall is really cool. I think what's going on in the background here around this lamp is looking good. It might be a little bright on the table there. Maybe just tone that down just a little bit, like a 10% or so. The area that I'd like to focus in on, because the outside looks good. I just think that the amount of light that's hitting here is now starting to feel a little bit too strong. Like it feels too intense for the lighting outside. So I would maybe, and I think that'll actually help us in the long run because that'll allow that to kind of tone down a little bit. Like it'll still be like moonlight, it just won't be as strong. And then it will also allow, like it'll create more balance where like this will now be the main center focal point, which will be fine. And then the other thing about that light is that because it's mixing with like all these like wood tones on things, like on all the wood tones, it's almost like it's making the ground look just, and this might be part of the pale desaturated thing, but it just makes the ground look green. So I'm wondering if I would pull back on the light color and just make it like, just for the next iteration, try and make it more, almost like not like a white light, but like almost. And just see, and then we can use like the sky color to push it in. Because I think if we put this, just do a quick color tweak here. Like if we take down some of the green here, don't look what's going on in the other areas. Let's see, I'm just trying to get a little bit more. This might not be the best example of this, but so like just in the light color on the ground here. Like if we just allow that to get a little bit warmer, it might help out. That's a terrible mock-up. I'm just gonna delete that. But I think it's just pushing a little bit too much of the blues and it's mixing with like the yellows of the ground or something and just coming out as looking too green. And,
Oh yeah, I do see that.
yeah. So other than that, and then just watch out for these like, this might just be a render artifact, but like inside of the ground here, there's it looks like it's starting to get a little bit noisy in there. So just watch out for that. You might just have to add more samples in the specular or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. But this is looking really good. You're making really nice progress on this overall. Compared to like, I'd have to go back to look at the original again, but I think that you've made a huge amount of progress on this. This has been really good. All right, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we got two more for today. We've got, we'll start with Azusa. So I know that you talked about you were updating the water. That's totally cool. I won't make any comment on that. The one thing I was looking at, so when I kind of stepped back and I looked at this at first, I was like, I thought that the area right in here, like the shadows looked like too dark and too thick almost. In a way, like I would expect it to see a little like a little bit more, how do you say it? Like almost like pass through, like you see some more light breaking through. But when I went back to your reference, you can kind of see that you've got it pretty well. It is pretty dense. The one thing that's different though is that the darks on this don't quite get as dark as what we're seeing here. And then the other thing is like these trees here are getting, it looks like light hits on them or something. And that is actually making the dark areas feel darker. So I think it would be a matter of just like softening the light that's hitting there and then adding in a little bit more fill. Just so because what's happening here is it's almost like there's fog being layered on top of blackness, and it just kind of just like it gets flat and then lifts up a little bit. Where inside the reference there's a little bit more variation in the shadows, so you can see a little bit more detail. In terms of the rest of the image, I think structurally it's coming together. I think I would put a little bit of fog on this area here, just to get that to separate a little bit more the foreground from the background, at least raising the black points on it just so we can get that separating out. The one thing to be mindful of is that the thing about this image, there's something about this image that makes it feel glowy, golden, spectacular, like that makes it feel a little bit special, are all of these glancing light hits on the lily pads and grass in the foreground. I'm not sure if you're going to be adding more foreground elements, like or stuff in the water here. It's fine if you don't, but at some point we got to start creeping some light hits onto more of these foreground elements to get that to match that a little bit. And then once you get the water looking the way that you want, then you can get in some of these reflections in there too, of the sky and all that. So it's a little bit less soft. And then looking at, so there's also a thing too where there's more haze as you go up almost. So it's almost like, yeah, you kind of got it there, but just be aware of that. And then yeah, and then for the sky, you could possibly put in some more warmth into that too. The sky looks pretty good overall. But yeah, just like getting some of these, just like warmer tones in there, kind of help shift the mood around a little bit. But yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. And then last up we have our old friend Mr. Bean. Well, first off, I mean, just out of the gate, a lot of noise. Just be careful of that when you're going through your rendering process. Same deal. Oh, the eye dings look better. They're still a little bit sharp. I would soften them and decrease their intensity a little bit because again, this is all kind of backlit. The skin. Let's see. Make sure I got the right one here. Just look at this compared to the other one. Just a sec. So skin is starting to warm up a little bit overall. I think that's good, but there's still like there's still like if you look around his mouth, there's like his mouth that's a little bit warm, and then just outside of that, it's like there's almost like a circle here, and then outside of that, it gets like almost green in there. So I would just double check your maps and see what's causing that. Maybe just shift out the greens just a little bit. You want to watch the specular highlights on the jacket. I know it's a little low res, but that's just something that I struggled with, dude. Like you may want to just turn down or turn up the roughness. I think it's in the roughness settings on the jacket. So just watch out for that. Hair's got some better sheen to it. We lost a little bit of the intensity on the hair. Like I would like to see some of that come back. And then yeah, once we move forward with the eyes, The eyes have a problem that they're just too marbly, and there's too much of a difference between the highlights and the darks. So I would just like lift the darks up with like a gamma adjustment, and just kind of like basically like trying to take down the contrast in the eyes overall. And then it's tough to see with the noise, but the lips you might need a little bit extra work too, because right now they feel a little bit too like saturated pink. And then just getting them to line up. But we'll see how it looks once we add those other things in too. And then I think the shirt can go a little bit whiter too. His collared shirt can go a little bit brighter, but the tie and the jacket look about the right value. So overall, this is looking much better. I'd love to see more stronger. So like some stronger rim lights. Wait, this is the new one. Yeah, so stronger rim on the hair just to get a little bit more oomph on that. And then continue to work on the like the tip of the nose, the ears, and right around the mouth all seem to be in that kind of pinkier tone, while everything else is still kind of falling into like a darker green value. So keep trying to lift that up. Shirt brighter, less or more roughness on the jacket, and then try and get the eyes to balance out. Oh, and soften and lower the intensity on the eye dings because we're in the fill value. But that's it. All right, y'all. That is all for today. If you have any questions, need anything else, let me know. And I look forward to seeing what y'all got tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your evenings, and I'll talk to y'all soon. All right,
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.